I'm Cyclade, and today I want to share a set of strategies that are very easily to scale from one to the other, and at last being what in my opinion is the best farming strategy in Lake of Kalandra, and being the best way to farm a Mirror of Kalandra if you want to get one this league. These strategies are very easily to scale from one to the next with an increasing level of investment and resulting in an increasing level of profit per map, as well as an overall profit and also just a really fun experience because we're going to end up with delirium mapping, really high juice, a lot of enemies in the map. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm grabbing ahead. As per usual, if you want, you can find in the description my spreadsheet, and on the spreadsheet this is called a mini project, and you can find the compact information of all the trees there. It's also with sextant and scarabs to use, but in this video I'm going to be a bit more in detail about what we want to do, why we want to do it, as well as going to say how we run the maps. Now, that being said, let's get into the first strategy. We are looking at low investment dunes. In this low investment dunes, our main focus is getting Legion and getting 5 resets. We are looking to spend as little as possible in a map, but we don't want to be on an I can go level basis. To sustain our maps, we are going to look at getting the 4 nodes of the shaping, which gives us 100% increased chance to drop a map a tier higher. Assuming we're still in an early stage, we can take singular focus here, but you might want to not have it yet to get overall more map drops, as we maybe not have all favorite slots unlocked yet. As well, we are assuming we only have about 100 passive points, so we just have run the basic maps. Now, that being said, on the rest of the tree, we are going to early out pick some essences, so we have an additional stable income per map, and on the map device we can take essence instead of Legion early on if we don't have enough currency to pay off the Legion every map. The rest of the tree is going to be getting emblematic and only the Maracas one, as we don't want the Templar, like in my previous video about Legion Dunes. If you take the Templar, you're going to get more Templars, and you're going to get way less Maracas than if you just take Maracas. We're going to take the other Legion notables, everything except this one. Don't have the points for that one yet, assuming you have more. You can, of course, you can take it if you had 105 or more points. We're going to focus on Searing Exarch as our influence. Searing Exarch is a bit more humane. You will be able to get a good amount of XP, and you're less likely to die in these maps. As the maps we want to, for the maps we want to run them. We first rush the boss, being it Sleep Slam, Whirling Blades, or Phase 1, any fast movement. We rush the boss. When we're at the boss, we're going to kill the boss, and then we're going to run the rest of the map. If we find a league mechanic, go run the league mechanic. Don't just run the rest of the map first. This is going to be due later on. For now, if you find altars, it just takes a minion, Eldritch minion one, as we are assuming the build is not strong enough yet that it can sustain the reduced survivability or reduced damage of the Eldritch player altars. Or well, player modifiers that give us currency dupe as an upside, but the downside is going to be too harsh for this point. On the next stage, we're going to swap to Jungle Valley. Previous, the Dunes allowed us to have the divination card as a nice additional source. At this point, we are not going to really need that anymore. Instead, we're going to focus on Legion and Breach to sustain on our maps. We're going to have Polished Legion Scarabs and Gilded Breach Scarab as our main focus, and we're going to again add Bestiary and Reliquary. In the previous step, we were able to use Rusted, and now we can use Rusted or Polished. This is the same principle as the last one. We don't want to use Einhar yet, because we're going to save them up for later. Instead, we're going to use the Scarab to just give us a bit of additional juice per map. The Reliquary one allows us to get more uniques, which might have a high value if well rolled, and if not, if we get a God Touch, it results in more Scarabs or in more Divination Orbs, which is a nice thing to add. The passive tree is about the same. We are just adding the Breach part, and we're also assuming we have enough points to add the Legion part. So we're going to go over the left instead of the middle to take the Breach. We're going to take Flash Breach, of course. Additional chance for Breach boss with this node, and boss doing double drops, as well as staying over this node to give us a chance of the Breach boss dropping a full Breach stone. And then of course here, to have a chance for the special Breach boss that card dies or with drops a random Breach stone. We are also going to start using Sextant. Additional Legion 1 is fairly expensive at this point in the league, but it's definitely worth it, assuming you can kill all the Legions very quickly. The Additional Breach one is in an elevated state, it's fairly affordable. Now, of course, it might change over the duration of the rest of the league. If that's the case, just with one Additional Breach, it's going to cost a lot less, so you're going to even out with the increased cost. And we're going to use breaches to be on Chayula. This means every breach has to be a Chayula breach, so we can take the small nodes over here, and without having the downside and just having the upside of additional breach chances. The Jungle Valley, we are not going to rush the boss. Instead, we're going to run every league mechanic as soon as we encounter it, trying to run the maps as fast as possible. If we find a Delirium Mirror, great, we're going to also utilize the Delirium Mirror to get additional juice. Which brings me to the last point of this strategy. It had a flex spot. You can add a fourth sextant, which can be a Delirium Mirror, and you could, if you have more points, take the Delirium Reel. It can be map drop 8-bot corrupted, or it can be unidentified pack size, rare mods have more rare packs. It can be whatever you prefer at this point, or you can just apply random sextants by taking this node, giving it 4 users. This is just, again, the core tree for the strategy. You can add on top of this whatever you prefer. But now we get to the really juicy part. We're going to start using Delirium Orbs. We are going to stick on Jungle Valley, but our tree changes significantly. Instead of being just for the Legion and the Breaches, we are now starting to look for the God Touched. The way we're sustaining the maps is by having the Scarabs. We are first going to, it's going to be two-parted. We're going to partially sustain the Scarabs we want to use, and we're also going to get a lot more Scarabs which we can sell to sustain the cost for the rest of the setup. Now we're going to also start using our Einham-missions. And we're going to upgrade our Bestiary and our Bestiary Scarab to an Abyss Scarab, to a Gilded one in this case, because Abyss is rendering past giving us a lot of enemies, and we're going to upgrade our Polished Reliquary to a Gilded Reliquary. If the Gilded Reliquary is too expensive in your opinion, a downgrade to a Polished again, you will see a fairly decrease in value in your profit per map, but it's not going to be too significant that it's an absolute must-run Gilded. And we're also going to use our last sextant spot for to be a Blight, Delirium Buffel Faster, or an Einhar one once we run out of Einhar missions. The Daily Buffels Faster is based on the current price of it. It can be worth it, but if you're only going to get 2 additional bar layers, and it's going to be about 50 or 60 chaos for the Daily Buffel Faster or more, I don't think it's going to be worth it with Gathering Orbs this league. Now let's take a closer look at what's tree changed. We are going to be a bit more efficient in our routing, and because we take Wandering Pass, we don't get anything from notables anymore. So we're going to drop our hunting 5-ray sets and hunting the Chayula Breach Zones. Instead, we're going to look for getting as many Scarabs as possible, as well as getting as many God Touched as possible. At this stage, you're going to also want to use Magic Finding, which we get to in a bit later. We are looking at about 1 in 4 maps to 1 in 3 maps should be a God Touch, and also it should be that 1 in 5 God Touch should be a currency one, based on my own experiences. In our tree, we are going to take all the small nodes here because we just want the additional chance for Legion, as well as the small nodes here. We're going to take here so we get some emblems from time to time, and over here so we can clear the Legion in the stages faster and have more time to clear it. Additionally, we're going to start using Abyss. With these nodes here, here, and here, we are having a good amount of additional Abyss. Also here, we have a good amount of having additional Abyss in the map, as well as having the chance for the Abyss, actually giving the Abysses a lot more monsters. We're going to keep the small nodes here because we just want as many breaches as possible, but we are going to remove over here and this part because it's not giving us the nodes here and here, giving us a bit more breach shines, as well as some more magic monsters in the breach, meaning it fills all the delirium bars up a bit better. With the rest of the points, we're first going to focus on the top of the tree, giving us increased effectiveness of the modifiers on our map, allowing us to roll the map for increased numbers of rares, which with this is going to be at 50% or more every time we run the map, giving us more God Touch, allowing to sustain them more easily. It's also going to give us just more quantity and rarity overall. Then we're going to go for bestiary. Over here we have a chance to get red beasts in pairs, just giving us a chance for additional red beasts, and over here guaranteeing us 4 additional rare beasts per map, which means 4 more rares that can be got touch. Now those either red beasts and yellow beasts are not being considered killing by us, so they're not affected by our gear quantity, but they're affected by the reliquary scarabs. So they do get a good amount of divines if they are currency got touched, or a good amount of winged scarabs if they are innocence got touched. Lastly, we're going to take the middle wheel, of course, for the increased rarity and quantity, and we're going to take these 3 nodes and these 3 nodes to have an additional chance for harving in our map, just more juice, as well as here and here to have at least 1 shrine in each of our maps. Lastly, we're going to swap from Ring Exarch to Eater of Worlds, allowing us to have more packs and a tighter fitting tree. Now, we want to start running the map a bit differently. It's going to take us a bit longer, but it's going to be a lot more rewarding. We're going to ignore all league mechanics for now, and we're going to just run the map up, and we're going to kill all Delirium and influenced Eater of World enemies. We're going to want to spawn the altars, and on the altars we're going to prioritize currency duplication and additional quantity. And if we don't see any of these, we're going to take the minion ones. As the special way of Jungle Valley, the boss is not considered spawned until you enter the boss arena. So every altar cannot give you the boss option. With this, we can utilize every altar very well. After you run through the map, activated the altars, you're going to kill the boss, and top to bottom you're going to start running the league mechanics. Now, the way we want to run the league mechanics is when you see a breach, and a legion, and an abyss, you're going to run the abyss first. The abyss is something we don't want to activate by accident, so we're going to force those first. Afterwards, when an abyss is at the last stage, usually an abyss jumps between 1 to 3 times when it travels. So that means that after it travels 2 times, you can start a breach while the third one is releasing its enemies, allowing you to do the breach and the abyss at the same time. Same goes for Legion. After the abyss is done, you can start a Legion, and with the Legion you activate a breach, and you're going to first focus on all the stasis Legion enemies, and once they are all broken and the Legion timer run out, you can stand inside the breach and just clear the breach enemies. And then when you find, of course, Legion enemies, you clear those too. And that should give you about a map done every 10 minutes. It's not that quick. If you are having a good build, with this level of movement, it should make 7 to 10 minutes, 7 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. But definitely is worth the rewarding part. Now on the next level of investment, we are going to have the same tree as previously, the same sections previously, the same way we roll our maps, our map device and INA, but we're going to upgrade to winged scarabs. Winged scarabs allow a lot more juice into the God Touched hunting, as well as giving us a lot of random rares, random of uniques, which we can sell if they are well walled or if they are T0 unique. We're going to use, instead of gilded reliquary, a winged reliquary. So if we get God Touch, we have the chance of getting those huge 30 divine explosions. We're going to use winged legion instead of polished or gilded legion, because the winged legion gives us 2 rares, gives us 2 legions every map. And winged abyss instead of a gilded is going to give us 1 additional abyss, and it's going to give us 100% increased monsters from abyss instead of 50. Being a huge amount of enemies in an abyss, and that result in us getting 1 to 2 additional layers of delirium on average compared to previously. Making it really juiced maps that are going to take about 10 minutes, but it's definitely worth it. Before we're going to take a look at the cost and what you can expect as a profit on these, I wanted to mention the magic finding again. The recommended level of magic finding in my opinion is having about 30 quantity and 300 rarity. That is with what I run about. I think I had 340 rarity, which is a bit more, but this should be more than enough. You want to get about 2 Ventus Scalpel and a Divination Distillate if you can equip those. You have the quantity, and the rarity you're going to use a rarity helmet which has a rarity suffix, a rarity prefix, and rarity for slap dropped by rarity of items dropped by slain rare or unique enemies, if either on an unveil, which I think is Gravitas or Vorici, or just a craft. Otherwise, you go on to use a rarity support, or additionally, rather, you still use the Ventus Gamble and the Distillate, and you might want to use a Gold Flask, which, if crafted rolled for increased effect and crafted rarity, can give you 75 increased rarity, which is also a very nice thing. Now with this, you can't expect all explosions to be huge. You're going to get some that are 3 to 5 maybe sometimes a bit less, maybe sometimes a bit more, but you will allow your character to have the chance to find those 25, 30, 35 divine explosions that are just super juicy. But to be fair, the best I got was only 27, but 27 is more than enough. It's going to feel super amazing when you get it. Now let's take a look at the cost of the very high investment stage. The previous stages are about costing you maybe 10 to 20 chaos, 50 chaos, and then 100 chaos per map. And at the high investment, we're looking at about 300 to 350 chaos per map based amount of the amount of bulk you're buying in and how much time you spend in buying not in bulk. But even with that 350 chaos per map, we are expecting a lot of profit per map. In my case, I made about 90 divines in 48 maps, and that is not even having sold all. The reason was that I wanted to just finish my mirror, which was my goal for this. And once I got my 8 mirror shards, I just ignored the rest of the scarabs and the rest of the uniques I had. I can actually show you. I still have a fair amount of uniques left that I can combine or sell that are Royal Vault. For example, I have this that is one off. And even the armor wall as well. I have a reflection of Kalandra that hasn't sold yet with difficulty 13. So there's a lot of stuff that I haven't sold yet. For example, there would be another 7 divines. I haven't sold the Vacant Sextons. I still have a few scarabs left around. So overall, I would say, if we wanted to go, overall you can expect even more than just the 90 divines I made with this. And it's also, if you run bigger sets than just 48, you will have more scarabs to sell in bulks, meaning you can ask more bulk prices. So it's a really amazing strategy that eventually, like after about 4 sets, you should be able, so about 200 maps, you should be able to afford a mirror. Which in my opinion, 200 maps to get a mirror isn't that much. That being said, it's been a lot of fun running these, and I can definitely recommend this. And you can expect to make about 240 chaos profit per map, ignoring any uniques you get dropped, because the uniques are still a bit random. You are only guaranteeing to get uniques, but just running a huge amount of bulk, you will get T0 uniques, T1 uniques, or well-walled uniques, which sell for more than just the base price. I think this is a really good strategy, the best one in my opinion, at least for this league. You can definitely recommend this if you want to have fun and have fun hunting god-touched enemies while also having somewhat stable sustain. Because the Crimson Temple strategies that are hunting apothecaries, in my opinion, those are very aligned in getting the apothecaries to sustain or to actually make profit. That being said, I hope this was enjoyable. If you watched till now, I really do appreciate that, and if you haven't yet, I would really appreciate as well if you could leave a like on this video, and if you haven't, subscribe to my channel. That being said, asking a lot, have a great day, and hopefully a lot of currency when you run this strategy. Goodbye.